So the vision of PMX basically goes with the tagline of democratization of medical imaging. I have spent about 15 years in the medical imaging industry across various corporates, building full pipeline of the radiological workflow, acquisition, data processing, reporting, and so on and so forth. As the information that's present in medical images is quite useful, tremendous, predominantly used in the diagnostic and monitoring space. One of the challenges is the fact that this pipeline and the execution of the pipeline and the ability to extract this information has been and still remains quite complex. So it needs very trained and specialized people in order to acquire the data. It needs specialists such as radiologists to read the data and interpret it. And the outputs that are coming out when the radiologists report are quite static and textual in nature. We wanted to change that. I think the information that's embedded in the images can have a lot of value when it reaches a larger audience, the larger stakeholders of the healthcare ecosystem. We need to bring the patient as well into this perspective. So why go take an image and not be able to see and interpret the image as a patient? So I think that's the philosophy that we started off with. And we wanted to change the dynamics of making images go beyond the dark rooms and to be able to be interpreted and utilized in a larger audience. Artur, what do you have any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, I have very similar motivation. I have experience from my family. My mom goes to the hospital and come with some DICOM files on the CD and have no idea what to do with that. I work with the scientific data before, so I'm able to visualize that and explain to my mom. But I really believe that shouldn't be like that. We should provide the solutions that will provide some kind of awareness and also feeling that everything is very explainable for the patient, because it's quite crucial also from the treatment point of view.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So I think fundamentally PMX solution, I would say, falls in the category of a platform. What we have built is a platform that connects the chain of acquisition, data processing, and reporting. We are currently concentrating on 3 pipelines of products, 2 of which in a little bit more advanced stage, and the third one in the pipeline. The first one is basically looking at managing and handling dementia and how imaging plays a role in the dementia pipeline. So we have a product that combines faster acquisition techniques, which is one of the challenges with MRI, having much longer acquisition times. We have partnered with some academic collaborations to expedite and speeden up the acquisition. Now from there, we want to generate quantitative outputs of images and extract useful information that can be then, as Artur was saying, be explainable to the patients as well as other clinicians beyond radiologists. And then finally create reports that are consumable to a larger audience. So the dementia is coming out and sort of existing as a fairly big pandemic, and it's a disease that's chronic in nature. It develops at a slow fashion. So being able to triage it early enough and help the patient understand and engage better can improve this aspect of it. We have similarly built other products in the pipeline. The next one we have is a chest solution that looks at viral infiltration patterns and pneumonia kind of diseases, including COVID. And it actually is able to identify patterns that are relevant in classifying and grading the level at which the patient's lung is being infiltrated and the burden of the lung of the disease itself. The last product, which is still very early in the pipeline, is a body composition assessment. So this can be used in various cases, both in the clinical side as well as in the wellness and the fitness side. So we have been understanding how the body's makeup can contribute or facilitate a better health and wellness. So I think that's the main categories that sort of we've been working on.
quite strong effort in PMX is on share the data with that it's zero footprint software. So because nobody wants to buy for many millions of dollars the specialized software to do that. So we develop HTML version of the report that provide exactly the same information like we produce in the report for the radiologist. So even with your phone or tablet or computer, you can access to your data. And I think it's quite crucial to ensure the patient that he or she have everything that the physicians have. So this is exactly the same output.
Yeah, so I think one of the key characteristics of the solution is its quantitative nature, right? So I think we are able to very precisely define. Previously, the reports typically have mild increase in contrast or enlargement of a certain region, but it's not specific in terms of how much is this contrast change or how much is the size change. So that's what we're trying to define it very precisely. So when a decision has to be made, whether the change is significant or relevant, it becomes very objective in nature. So that's one of the key factors in all the solutions to be able to do this. And the second thing, as Artur said, is to be able to bring a form factor that becomes ingestible in a variety of platforms. So like, using a mobile phone, once the scan is completed, I'm able to now take away the report and also be educated on it just to see what it is. So as a patient, I get a lot of insights. The radiologists, of course, are primary consumers of these images, and they add value by interpreting it and providing guidance on this. But instead of just simply sending that text information to, let's say, a primary care physician or any other sort of specialist, now they're able to see it in conjunction with the images and view it, let's say, in three-dimensional representation or multiple format views with quantitative information assist sitting right next to it. So that way, I think the whole piece of the puzzle comes together here. I think that's the main, I would say, differentiational characteristics to be able to stitch the entire pipeline, meet different stakeholders, as well as provide quantitative information across the stakeholders.
Yeah, and I have that feeling that we have already in 2022 a lot of science, a lot of methods in healthcare that we conduct that in our hospital. But if we don't build a trust with the patient, the attitude to the treatment will be too low, and we need to have whole pipeline from the exam up to explain moment that we explain to the patient what we will do and why. And if we have that together, if we have platform to communicate with our patient, we strongly believe that will reflect also with the treatment process, because treatment is not only about molecular and matter, it's also about mind, and it's for our perspective, this is one thing. So we should take care also on the heart biology as well as people's mind.
Yeah, very crucial point. Yeah, so we are beyond all the clinical use case. We are looking at health, wellness, and fitness. So one of the, you were just mentioning about mind and body coming together. So if we can use our solutions to help, let's say, athletes, even professional or people who are becoming professional, or even regular individuals who want to maintain their health. And this is one of the things that I always want to look at and see. What we've been practicing today by and large is sick care. We actually don't do the true health care. I want to move the spectrum of like, instead of patients going when they have a problem, to be able to push the spectrum so that they actually can maintain their health. So why not collect this data even when they're well, to make sure that they are continue to be well. So we have to incentivize them to be well. So when you provide this engaging pieces of information, that can sort of enhance. And this can further be used in cases where an athlete wants to improve his or her performance. They can use this data to very granularly look at maybe I need to build up a muscle in a certain region, or reduce fat in a certain region, or improve the state of mind by doing other sorts of brain training and stuff like that. So all this information comes together in a single package, and that's kind of a big additional value that we can provide beyond clinical use cases. Ever worried about your money being in the cloud, in the bank, where you're not hiding away stashes of cash under your bed anymore, right? We all have it in the cloud and it's all there. And I think usually when you look at personal information or personal data, I think money is definitely one on the top of it. It's like our money, my money, and stuff like that. So it is a personal information and data. We've put it on the cloud. So I think we are probably overthinking it by saying healthcare information and data should not be, or it's the constraints on security probably are a little bit overthought, in my opinion. And I think technology has quite effectively solved it in other industries, specifically banking, definitely other industries. So we do envision that having a very secure cloud where healthcare data can sit and be able to be accessed. And this is all a part of accessibility. If I want to go visit a different doctor, I don't want to be taking the same tests over again. Yeah. I would want to sort of take my data where I want and be able to show it. So it's almost like my identity. I have a QR code, and then with the QR code be able to use it and say, hey, pull some of these scan, pull some of the other data. And it should all be available to present to another clinician or even as a part of a discussion. And I think that integration must happen. And I think it's probably, I would say, healthcare is a little behind in terms of moving data to the cloud. And I think it's happening as we speak. And this is, again, a big part of our journey as well, to migrate to a lot of the cloud-based processing, cloud-based data store. What do you think?
Yeah, I fully agree, and I will even try a little bit to expand that, because it's not only about putting data to the cloud. I'm ready. If we build awareness in the society, when I will go to the CT or MRI, I want to have option to check the one box that I agree to fully anonymize my data and put to the repository that will be available to all AI healthcare company worldwide. Why not? The data sets are the king in our industry.
It is.
The algorithms are well settled. The access to the data is a key point. So why not build in worldwide the common understanding about that and create the repository of the data?
Absolutely. Right.
And of course, I don't want to force anyone to do that,
Right.
but give us that option. I think many people will use that, especially if we will educate the society.
Completely agree. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I think I'm too small to predict the future, but from my perspective, PMX try to be very in the present. There is a lot of things to do right now. We have technical capabilities and knowledge to improve the healthcare right now. So it's a matter of spending enough hour on that, and with that effort we can in the present do a lot of things. There is still we can be better as mankind, so we should do that, and I think that will be the future. The future will be when we will all realize that we should work together, the software developers, the AI specialists, the radiologists, the physicians, we all need to build a trust between each other, and in that moment the miracle will happen. I'm quite sure about that.
Absolutely, no, I fully agree that, and I think we are also getting into an era where it's not just humans, and there's a lot of machine intelligence and machine aspects coming into play. So there is, if you look at AI as a space, I mean it's of course software sitting behind, but also like robotics and stuff like that, actually enhancing the space of AI. So we're going to enter into a world that is going to be significant collaboration between a machine and human, and I think this definitely has a very big contribution in healthcare as well. So, and specifically in radiology, I think vision and computer vision based processing is a crucial capability that humans have. I think as a vision based assessment and looking at visual input and understanding that is a big factor. And the specialized aspect of how radiology plays in this and how AI contributes towards understanding that vision is going to be a big game changer in the future. And I think radiology will transform into a field that where I envision where one day you walk to a nearby pharmacy or a clinic and be able to get a quick scan and get a report on your hand which says, you know, you're doing healthy, or is there a specific aspect that you need to be aware of or alarmed of? So I think that future is quite evident. I think it's happening as we speak, and we as PMX are an integral part of that, building that future.